begin with breaking news. CTV News now knows when voters will be heading to the polls following tomorrow's snap election call. Let's bring in CTV's Jeremie Charron to break it all down for us. Hi, Jeremie. Good to see you. So when is the big day?
Yeah, Renee, April 28th will be the big day. That will be voting day for Canadians. That means this will be as short of a campaign as Elections Canada will allow. That's 37 days, including tomorrow, which will be, the Ritz Drop Day, and Election Day itself, which will be April 28th. So that is what we now know. We had reported earlier this week, sources had told us that a final decision hadn't been made yet. There were two dates being kind of talked about, the first being April 28th, the second being May 5th, but it would appear that decision has now been made, and we know that Canadians will head to the polls on April 28th.
And so this will be, as you mentioned, Jeremie, the shortest possible election campaign. Why do you think Carney is going that route?
Yeah, I think it's certainly strategic on behalf of Mark Carney and the Liberal Party. His team clearly has put a lot of thought into this. They're trying to capitalize on momentum, and they're trying to allow for the least amount of time for that momentum to dissipate, for them to lose the momentum that they have been gaining now for a little over a month in the polls. If we look just 2 months ago, the Conservatives were way out ahead of the Liberals, more than a 20-point lead at some points. All the talk was about how large the Conservative majority would be. And now we're looking at a race that is neck and neck. Most public opinion polls have, the Conservatives and Liberals within that margin of error, 1 or 2 points difference. Some polls even have the Liberals ahead of the Conservatives. So the Conservatives have been kind of slowly gaining momentum due to a multitude of factors. Former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau stepping down, resigning. The trade war with Donald Trump has done nothing but help the Liberal Party. Many Canadians seem to feel, most Canadians who've been polled, feel that Mark Carney is best suited to handle Donald Trump, to take on Donald Trump in negotiations. And so all of those factors are helping the Liberal Party, and they're clearly looking to capitalize on that momentum before they lose any of it, or something happens that changes that momentum, because we know this is politics. Things can change very fast, as we've seen in the polls over the last 2 months, that big swing that has closed the gap.
And what do you anticipate that we'll see during this campaign, Jeremie?
Well, I mean, look, this is a campaign that's going to focus. We've heard from, all the pundits, all the experts, all the strategists say this will be a campaign that will focus on one issue, and that issue is Donald Trump. The trade war, the tariffs, they all fall into that one category. And taking on Donald Trump is how all the candidates will have to pitch themselves. Whoever can best position themselves as the person to best take on Donald Trump will be the successful candidate and will be Canada's next prime minister. That is everything that we're hearing. That will be the sole focus for all the candidates. From Mark Carney and the Liberals, will likely continue to hear that, he will be a good negotiator. He's someone who understands the economy. He's someone who is calm, cool, collected in a situation like this, and the perfect person to lead Canadians through this time of trouble. That's what the Liberals will tell us. On the other side of things, we're likely to hear from the Conservatives that, Canadians need someone who is a fighter, and that Pierre Poilievre is that fighter. That's the message that we've continued to hear from the Conservative Party, that he would be better suited to take on Donald Trump than the Liberal Party and Mark Carney. And they'll likely lean on recent comments from Donald Trump, who says that, he'd rather take on a Liberal Party. He feels the Liberal Party would be easier to deal with. So I think we can expect to see the Conservatives certainly lean into those comments. And when it comes to the NDP, what we heard from them today, Jagmeet Singh speaking to media today about, his party going into this election, he was asked a lot about the recent polling that has seen a massive increase in support for the Liberals, and coming at the expense of support for the NDP. They've, lost a lot of support. Some public opinion polls showing their seat count could drop to as low as 7 seats in the House. They currently have 24. Jagmeet Singh pitched himself today as a fighter as well, and he said the only progressive choice for Canadians to take on Donald Trump. He called, Mark Carney and Pierre Poilievre as more of conservative choices, and feels as though that his party is the only progressive choice for Canadians, and he pitched himself as a fighter today as well. So I think, what we'll continue to see, Renee, is all of these leaders find a way to pitch themselves against Donald Trump and how they would take him on. That will be what we'll continue to hear throughout this campaign.
All right. CTV's Jeremie Charron reporting for us from Ottawa. Thanks very much for this.